but it doesn't really do that. And you know what? I combed my hair before I left the house, and the stocking cap just trashes it. Hey, I'm Rick. This is or was your seat at the table, however you want to look at it. It is quarter to 8 a.m. on Monday. This is my February bitch and gripe session, right? So I don't blame you for tuning away. It's my life. Last week, Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday, it was so cold. Ice started building up in the air brakes. It caused me a couple problems. The mechanic fixed it on Tuesday. He got it running, and then ordered a new air filter because there's this air dryer doohickey that goes on the truck, and supposedly it's best if you replace it every year. So I guess next fall this will be on my list of the mini list of things to get done early if I can get it done. Anyhow, it took him about 2 hours to get the thing swapped off and replaced, and it was like 14 degrees out. It was brutal. It kind of effed up the day. But what made worse was the way this is set up. There's a little drive shaft that sits just below this air dryer arrangement, and it runs the PTO for the pump on the truck. And without it running, well, the truck's just a big ugly tank on wheels. You can't pump anything in it without the pump running. So he said that the U-joint on the PTO shaft was going south. He says it was very noticeable. And I talked to my boss, and we both agreed it's not something you play with. So we had to take it to the mechanic's shop. And Quality doesn't rebuild those things in-house. They have to ship it out to another location or another shop. And then they got notified yesterday, or they got notified Friday afternoon that their other shop is waiting on part for the assembly and won't get it till sometime today. So we're working on the assumption and that the truck won't be available till tomorrow. All right. And Mondays are always kind of a hit or miss. I would have had a job last night that was not an overnight, but as it is, I'm now 20 hours behind customers wise. But that's also 20 hours of my paycheck behind. So I'm looking at Friday's check being a 28-hour check-ish. Yeah, we ain't buying groceries this week. We're not buying hardly anything. I mean, the between the credit cards and the cat food, and the utility bills, those things are priorities than us. So we have stuff stocked up in the cabinets because I had a fairly decent check this past Friday. And then, of course, when you get a big check, well, you get lots of money. No, I don't, because I get these short weeks that I have to compensate for. And yet my credit card takes yet another hit and another hit and another hit and another hit. It's crippling me. I don't know how any of y'all function. I'm a grown-ass adult, and I'm bewildered by how any of this works, no matter how damn work, Yeah, it's good to know every dog that I am not, going on there, Benzie. I'm not the only person that's struggling with these prices and this never-ending increases in costs. It's just, it's 3 years ago, things were much better. The interest rates are killing me. I'm not lying. That's part of my problem. That, and I haven't had a raise for 3 years. You listen to me on this channel enough, I cry about it all the time because in order to have health care, I got to turn down raises to stay under a certain ceiling so I can keep the health care. Yeah, right. Every damn day. I have $6, $7. I had almost a $900 check Friday after we paid all the bills, stocked up some supplies and stuff at the house. Put a little bit back for the next round of bills as they're coming that I knew I wouldn't have enough money Friday to cover. I have $6, $6 after killing myself. And then work-wise. And then we add, it just becomes more and more fun. So my truck's down, hopefully back up and running tomorrow. And I'll have a job this evening and one last night that add to the list of makeup jobs that I have to figure out how to shoehorn in. And then next week, I'm likely to have a really heavy week hours wise, and then I'll get yelled at. Well, why didn't you spread them out more? Yeah, right. So, and then, welcome to Iowa. Iowa has been very thin on snow this year. We have not had much in the way of snow. Do I know Mia Khalifa? Yeah, who's a grown ass adult in America that don't have Speaker Johnson for dad? You would not. Of course, we all know who she is. Most of us do anyway. Sad story for her. I'm sorry her life turned out the way it did. She made a many choices, and not all of them were good choices because, hey, that's part of life. I have made some really bad choices in my lifetime, some worse than others. And some of them weren't choices at all. When they make, you have a choice. Really, what choice do I have? It's like well, you made the choice with the healthcare. Okay, so I have a choice. I'm 58 and diabetic. So I really need to have some kind of healthcare for the diabetes. And I've been losing weight. I have lost 40 pounds this past year. So anybody can go cry. And the to keep that insurance through the ACA that I can afford, I have to keep under 65,000 a year for the county hospital because they have a charity program that's funded by Medicare. I'll bet the dime to dollar, and if Trump shuts that Medicare funding off, then suddenly I don't have health care anymore because the ACA's deduction from Obamacare is $9,600 a year. So I need the charity at the county hospital to cover that $9,600. It's like today, my wife's going to a dentist appointment at 3:00 this afternoon at the county hospital on this community cares insurance because Medicare does not have dental for her. And I don't have the money to pay for her dentist. We would have to literally put yet another huge bill on a credit card that's already, maxed out hard, heavily hit, like a lot of people. I clean grease traps for a living. Now, I drive this truck that looks like a septic truck, right? That goes around cleaning out kaibos, outhouses, porta potties, things like that. Except I go to your restaurants and your nursing homes and commercial kitchens, any place that's got a commercial kitchen that serves 10 or more people on a regular basis in the state of Iowa, anyway, in our area is required to have a thing called a grease trap. So if it's inside, it's a grease trap. If it's outside, it's an interceptor. I don't know why. They just basically an outside version of a very big, it's a much bigger version of the one inside, but it's the same principle. So I go in and my restaurants, businesses, this causes a challenge because every week, I'm looking at setting up my schedules for the next week. Every week's a different challenge. Every day is a different challenge. Sometimes that's okay because it makes life a little less stagnant. But there are times where it just feels like, if the truck hadn't have broke down, I've been working straight for 3 weeks. I would have worked through the weekend. I would have worked every day of the weekend like I did the last 2 weekends. And this coming weekend would have been my first actual damn day off. But now that the truck's thrown my schedule off, that's no longer out there. Yeah, the dentists are crazy. In America, if you don't have dental insurance, your company doesn't provide it. Medicare, which is, for old people and people like my wife who's on disability, that doesn't cover it either. And if you don't have health insurance, you have to pay out of pocket for it, or you get a dental insurance you pay out of pocket for yourself, but it's hideously expensive, $1,000 or more just to go in to get, like, if you have to get a root canal done, it's $400, $300 to get a tooth extraction done anymore. It's insane. I mean, I have my upper teeth are our dentures, and thankfully for the stimulus checks we got during COVID, that was how I was able to pay for my part of the damn denture. It was $1,000 piece of plastic to go on my upper lip, but I still have some bottom teeth trying to keep them for as long as I can. But once again, you don't have access to regular health care or regular dental care. None of this is a right in America, in the richest country in the world. Why is healthcare not considered a right? It's part of our preamble, And when you look at the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, Declaration of Independence is the right to pursue to live and be happy and health and happy, and all this should be included. But what do I know? I'm just a dumbass. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that can jump up and down and tell me how it's physically not possible for America. Really? We're the richest country in the world, for Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but not for the rest of us. The rest of us can just go sit and dance around and go, right? So anyway, in addition to the truck, right, I also had my plumber go down from North Karen Yeah, there's a lot of North Karens around here, and they're full of hate too, my friend. If you're gonna be if you're gonna be a bot, you should be a better bot, and just get your wording phrased. That tells me you're not a machine. Anyhow, we go and my plumbing Sunday morning clogged up again. 2 weeks, 2 weeks since the plumber was out last. We know for a fact we have a bad pipe under there. There's just no way. I have been putting my toilet paper into a trash bag, not down the toilet, trying to eliminate as much possible going down there. So the only thing going down there is what's bodily coming out of us, which should be able to get through whatever's clogging it up, but apparently not. Apparently and at some point the plumbers are not going to they're going to get to a point where they can't unclog it. And then my plumbing's done and I have no freaking way to fix it. I honestly don't. I wouldn't call have that humanity. We're poor, but we're on a waiting list for a year before they even make an evaluation. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year. She says problem right now is probably 20-30% of the funding that go for Habitat Humanity in America is subsidized by, guess what? Federal grants. The very things that MAGA and Trump and Elon Musk want to shut off. So once again, that I get screwed because it's already a bad situation. The only other option potentially would be to get a homeowner loan thing through my mortgage to pay for this, which is where I might end up absolutely having to go, and yet trying to find yet another way to make another payment every month. I mean, I had to replace our furnace 3 years ago, and we still have 3 payments left. That's $600 in pay, $200 a month, 190 something a month to pay for the personal loan I got to replace the damn furnace. So a few more months of that'll be paid off, and my van needs replaced. But I don't have money to buy another van right now. And with interest rates the way they are, you'd have to really be stupid to go deal with that, in my eyes, in my opinion anyway. And so with the truck being in the shop, hopefully get back today and tomorrow. I'm waiting for a call from the plumber. I put in a request through American Home Shield because the plumber had been out less than 30 days. They're supposed to come out and redo it for free. So we'll see if they'll actually do it. They're aware we have a plumbing problem too. And I want to talk to them about what it'll cost to have them come out and give me an estimate, ideally a free estimate as to what it would take to replace the pipes. And so I got some kind of basis to start working on trying to figure out how to pay for it and how much it would cost to have them run a camera down into the pipes to actually look at them. I mean, I don't have money for that. I can't justify spending $300 or $400 or whatever it would cost to have them go down in there and look at pipes I know are bad. And if I was 20 years ago, if I was in my 30s still, I would just tear the floor up myself. I would go rent a concrete saw or whatever and cut a bad damn hole in my laundry room, the little room that passes for one, and start digging. That's the one downside of having a house on a slab is that your plumbing's below that slab and it's expensive. They got to cut through the slab, which also weakens the structure of the house. They'll tell you it don't, but I've heard stories. It's one of those what you do or you don't do. You just kind of have to go and roll around and wonder. Meanwhile, we have weather coming in, of course. There's light snow predicted for this evening, which wouldn't affect much. But Wednesday and Thursday, they're not exactly sure. Upwards of 6 to 8 inches of snow in the greater Des Moines area is what I'm hearing. And that generally is sufficient enough to shut me down. The truck does not handle slick roads well. It's too bouncy if it's empty. It really can. I've had it turn sideways on hills in light snow just because the roads were slick. Don't like it. So already behind hours. I'm pushing 30 hours behind now, customers wise, which all have to be made up over the next couple of weeks. And then you add that to the weather finally coming in. All year, hardly any snow and rain or ice or anything of significant issue. For Iowa, it's pretty rare. We're actually well below our, the drought index isn't looking so good, because of the lack of the snow. And here we are, the second week of February. February is a short month. Iowa spring's usually in full swing by the end of March. Groundhog shadows be damned. Iowa pretty starts waking up at the end of March, and there is possibilities for late, snowstorms, ice storms. It's happened as early as April and I think May. I think May was the latest, or the latest that we had a significant ice storm, and it lasted 3 days and shut the whole area down. It was bad, and that, of course, that was many decades ago, many decades ago. So I have to cope with the fact that the weather's going to turn crap, which means possibly I'll have to work Saturday, which would have been a day off, but I've had the last 3 days off. So, it's like today. I came in the office at 7 this morning. I'm screwing around. I'm going to work on my scheduling for the next week out, and with assumption that the weather and the truck and everything will be functioning. But it's still been a busy. February's been a busy month, and the jobs didn't go away. I mean, just looking at next week, I've already got one that was rescheduled. I'm waiting to hear back from another customer that I pair up with this one to see if they're okay with doing it on next Sunday. And then, this was this week. So that'll be next Sunday. And then the Hy-Vee and Albia last night I couldn't get to. That has to be rescheduled. Maybe slim chance that the truck's done this afternoon. I can get it after my wife's dentist. I got a Hy-Vee in Knoxville, Iowa, that I can go do in the evening. And then I got a bunch of jobs in the morning I definitely want to get done. But with the weather that they're talking about, if I can get the truck back early Tuesday morning, I might switch Tuesday and Wednesday schedule, because a number of these smaller ones that I do every week come up on Wednesday, and they didn't get done last week because the truck being down. It's just one of those, mother may I scenarios. I don't know, just trying to cope with it and get by yet another day and another way and another check. I don't know what it's cost to fix that plumbing under there. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 scares the hell out of me. I don't know how to even come up with the money. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 58. I tried telling it to my wife the other day. She says, well, she doesn't understand why I get bummed out and get depressed. She hasn't had to deal with any of this stuff. My wife isn't capable, and I'm not trying to tear her down or anything, people. She's just, some people they go out of their way to be ignorant about a lot of stuff. They don't want to know. So when things go south, they expect you to figure it out. Well, that goes for your spouses sometimes too. She would be totally screwed if I wasn't for me bumbling my way through stuff. And I don't handle it well. The older I get, the worse it is. I'd like to be laid back about it, but it just makes me feel worse and worse. And health wise, it's not good. I'm 58 and I'm stressing myself constantly. You add that to the insanity that's going on in our country today and the uncertainty of everything. I don't even know if I'm maybe have the same job this time next year. I really, the economists, they gave up screaming at us. They're just sitting back and nodding their heads and going, yep. A lot of them are predicting in the next couple of months for the economy in the country to take a real hard hit. I mean, really hard one. And I don't think half as many people are prepared for it as they claim they are. I don't know how you can prepare for, that kind of BS and unless you're extremely wealthy. I have contemplated several times over the years of changing jobs. This last conversation I had with my employer in part really drives that home, because I'm trying to get them to and they partially understand. Half of the ownership understands. The other half doesn't want to play ball. They want to help. Yes, they do. But so there are ways that I can be compensated. They know I should be making $400 or $500 more a month based on the raises I've had to turn down because of healthcare. And then, of course, well, you made the choice. You didn't have to turn those raises down. So my choice is to forego healthcare and die, possibly on the job, because I don't have anything looking after any of my blood pressure, my diabetics, none of that stuff, none of it. That's my choice. Get that $4 or $5 worth of raises that I don't have, and forego healthcare, because that's my choice. No, there's another choice, and she's purposely ignoring that choice, I think. My other choice is to quit, but I won't quit and go look for a job. I will have a job and not show up for this one because that's how it's going to play out. Years ago, I had an opportunity to go to work for another company, and it was a shoehorn thing until it fell through. At the end of the day, there was a situation, and then they were all gung ho about it. Then all of a sudden, oh well, we can't hire you. And I had already put my notice in here, and so I had to go back to my boss and kiss his ass. And of course, they hadn't even started looking for a replacement because they know they know the situation. They also know they assume they can find any moron to drive that grease truck of theirs, and that may be true. But whether they actually have a legitimate license or not, and will put up with the bullshit that goes along with the hours and the never-ending change of crap, that kills a lot of people. I'm desperate enough to roll with it, but it costs me all the time. What does it cost me? I don't have a fixed schedule every week. So I can't have it's almost impossible for me to have, decide I want to have Monday evenings to go play go play my role playing game somewhere or go play my war games. Whether I, have people to the house or go someplace else. I mean, I'd have to permanently schedule that into the schedule, and then that's so much hard work trying to work out all this stupid crap that crops up on Monday nights, or the fact that when I'm out all night Sunday, well into Monday morning, 6, 7 o'clock into the morning, I'm usually out of it the rest of the day. I can get some sleep, but even 8 hours of sleep during the day, I'm not used to it. That means the evening I'm still, all out, not all there. And the older I get, the worse that is. So it takes its toll. So yeah, I could, and our competitors have offered me jobs over the years. So I'm confident I could go down the road to one of our competitors and make $6, $7 more an hour. But there's caveats to that. Always this, you have to weigh out the stuff. I live 3 blocks. I can walk to the shop. It's literally 3 blocks down the street to my house. Then they put up with my crap. So for example, here I am. It's an hour after I got here. I've got some paperwork to do, but not much. Working on the schedule for jobs for next week. But all I can do is confirm the ones I got on the schedule and warn them that the weather's messing with the schedule right now. But I also have to shoehorn in the 30 odd hours worth of jobs that haven't gotten done. Friday night I had one that was an 8-hour overnight job that has to go somewhere. And that's what I mean by possibly have to work Saturday this week, because if the weather's okay and the truck's okay, then Friday night, they're talking snow and crap. So if it's not bad, I'll go do the evening job I got scheduled for Friday and then decide when I'm done with that, whether to proceed with one of these makeup jobs or call it for the night, because you don't want to start a job and then get partway through it and then have to shut down because of the weather or the truck. Right? It's just, what do you do? Meanwhile, you just kind of cope with it the best you can. I was able to get some videos done this weekend for my YouTube channel. I didn't do as many as I wanted to. Once again, it's hard to get motivated sometimes. Friday was such a mess. Thursday was just as bad. Thursday was really bad. And then Friday wasn't all that great. And so we ran some errands, did some other stuff, and then basically shut down. I didn't do squat Friday night, all day. No, most of Saturday. Saturday morning, I did about 3 hours worth of videos. So I got 4 different D&D books from 3.0, 3.5 edition, and then I got 2 more battle technologies coming up. I meant to get the Ilkland book bound up. I didn't get that done. Then there's still a bunch of stuff in my Kickstarter box from Mercenaries that I haven't gone through yet, that I would like to at some point, and get some of that done. Not so much sure how many more of the so you want to be a game master entries I have right off the bat. I got one maybe that I've got that's been recorded. Topics wise, a lot of the topics start to stretch over into, so you want to be you want to be a better game master. We want to introduce things from the concept of, I've never run a game at all, and what do I need to think of and do and worry about and stuff at the basic level. And then it becomes this slippery slope. Well, but if you were a little more advanced, if you spend a little more time, that's a different category of videos. And YouTube's full of those. I mean, there's lots and lots of very good YouTube channels, lots of good advice on how to be a good dungeon master, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not trying to compete with them. Occasionally, I will be watching somebody else's channel, like Bandit's Keep, when I saw the deal on his take on Thieves Guilds, and I thought, hey, I'd like to get my 2 cents in. Thus, the 2 videos that came out for that crops up. I know that I still have quite a bit of BattleTech up there, but I've been doing BattleTech for a year and a half, pretty solid. It's starting to lose its luster a little bit. I've got probably 14 more that are PDFs that have been printed out that are either bound and I haven't read or haven't got around to reading yet, or waiting on me to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm carrying, let's see, what do I got in here? I always carry stuff with me in my satchel over here and in the work truck. There's a BattleTech novel sitting on the damn dash that I'm reading, and Big Red didn't like the novel. I'm having mixed opinions on it, but here's another PDF I printed out. BattleTech's Objectives: The Periphery. So that's on my list of things to read and then do a crappy review on. I know some of my reviews are better than others, such as it is. That's me. I don't have the money or time or resources to be all that in a bag of chips like some of these YouTubers are doing. Good for them, right? I'm just trying to do my level best to stay alive and keep my wife and our Tam cats taken care of as best I can. I mean, the weather being dodgy off and on for the rest of the week, it's going to be a problem for jobs and stuff, without a doubt. And then next week's just going to roll into even more problems. And then we don't know what kind of weather's coming in behind that. The fact that we haven't had a foot of snow yet this winter is kind of one of those things where it's got to happen or it ain't. And we're getting late into the winter. It's looking at the calendar over here. We got less than 3 weeks left of the month. About 3 weeks left of the month. And God, that's disgusting. Yeah, I had my plumbing cleaned out on the 29th. And here we are, not even 2 weeks later, and it's clogged up again. Hopefully hear from them today, so we can get that taken care of. That I'll have to fit them in this week too. If they call and want to do it this afternoon, it's not going to work. Got to take the wife to dentist. And it, like I said, getting a dentist appointment at a county hospital when you're poor is a trip. It's not something that's easily done. There's so many people in need. For example, this is how this works. If you're already in their system and they schedule you stuff, don't miss the schedules. Don't miss them, because you will get bumped, and then they will become an issue down the road. So my wife has a cleaning schedule today, and well, you goddamn, we're going to that kind of thing, because it's hard to get on them in the first place, and I want her to stay on. And then the other route is, so if I had a toothache, every morning at 8 a.m. when the desk opens, start making the phone calls, and you just get yourself on speed dial, because it times out after 2 minutes. We'll put you on hold, and then it will hang up on you. And so you just got to keep speed dialing until you get a live body. And then it's toss your dice whether or not there's an opening. Then you're going to ask them, can I get on this, get in to see the dentist? And it's possible it could be weeks or a month before they get you scheduled. So if you're having an active toothache and you're poor, yeah, for you modestly wealthy people out there who don't understand what that's like, just saying. Nobody should have to live that way. Nobody should have to live this way. This is wrong. The richest country in the damn world. And why is it? It's supposed to be, we the people, for the people, of the people, by the people. Just bullshit. So in this case, I'll have to tell the plumber, we'll have to reschedule, which means it can be later in the week or next week before they have an opening. We could be crapping in a bucket for a week. Can't do laundry. Can't take a shower. Part of the reason my hair is funky. I would have showered yesterday. Normally I shower Sunday afternoon. I shower every other day in the winter. In the summer, I shower every day when I'm working, for sure. So Sunday, I showered Friday. Thing was fine. The bathtub was draining slow. I noticed it because our bathtub shower combo, right? You get 3 or 4 inches of water in the bottom. It's draining slow. That means there's an issue. And then so Sunday morning, I got up, 4 o'clock in the morning to use the bathroom, and it backed up. And it's been there since. I mean, it goes down, but you flush twice and that's backed up again. And so there's a partial clog down there. It's water seeping out, but the other stuff isn't. And my wife keeps insisting she's putting toilet paper in the trash can too. I can't make her do it. I'm just keep pleading with her to not put anything down that toilet that didn't come out of her backside. If it didn't come out of your orifices, don't flush it down the toilet, because it's that bad. I don't have money to fix it, but I don't have any family to turn to help and ask for assistance. Our family, what little there is of it, are pretty, angry with each other these days, thanks to Trump and politics. No, that's the sad thing right there, March Hare. And what makes it so worse is a lot of us older fellas, myself, I understand that better than a lot of people today seem to understand it, or even want to understand it. They don't even try to understand. The reason why America is so wealthy and is so great, in part, is because of people like you and I, us, doing our part to kill ourselves and support our families and some kind of lifestyle, so we enjoy what life we can as we struggle our way through it, right? But when I was a kid, the unions were everywhere. Every major corporation had a union. Everybody had pensions. My dad retired in the 90s from Firestone with a 30-year pension, plus Social Security, plus he had a pension from his service in the Marine Corps. So the man was well set up when he retired, right? But they've eliminated 90%, 80% of those unions. 90% of pensions don't exist anymore. Most private companies do not offer pensions except for the very top people, and they don't even call them pensions anymore. This facade of a 401k system that they pushed on us in the 80s really isn't worked out the way it was supposed to. It's tied too much into the ebb and flow of the stock market. But it's also one of those things where you're dependent on another outfit. This is where pensions got to be so effective, because they had many, many people working together that gave them more impact. All you got to do is look at the stories behind Jimmy Hoffa and the pension fund, understand just how impactful they were. Well, that's gone now, and it has been for 20 years. It's not hard to understand why so many people out here are so disillusioned that no matter how hard you work, you just can't seem to get past it. How much debt personally do you carry now? My wife and I figured it out. We're running about 16 grand in credit card debt. And actually, my credit rating bumped up to 704, which has never been that high. I've never had it that high in my lifetime, and yet my damn credit cards have never been this high in my lifetime either. It makes no sense. These bastards actually gave me another, Discover added another $2,000 or $2,000, to the already 10 grand that I fucking owe them. So now I can go even further debt into it. And of course, well, you can refuse that. Well, sure, you can refuse it, but guess what? I got to have it now. Where do you think the plumber calls $125 every time they come out? I've had them out 5 times last year. This will be the second time this year. Just, you know, and I still ain't any closer to fixing out how to fix that damn plumbing, how to find the money to fix the plumbing. Especially when I don't even know for sure. You know, if our economy takes a big hit, already hearing it, you're not hearing this. Most of you don't hear what I hear because I go into restaurant after restaurant after restaurant after restaurant all over the state of Iowa. Most of them are financially in trouble. Most of them are struggling very, very hard, in part because of the lack of customers. I was at one a couple of weeks ago, and I'm trying to get him on the schedule between conflicts and him always last minute. Well, I can't do it that day. I can't do it this day. And eventually, we'll get him done. But I stopped by, and it was like 12 o'clock. It was noon, and he had one customer in the restaurant. He'd been open since 6 a.m. because he does breakfast and lunch. And he said, "I've had two customers since I opened, and it's him, and he's got an employee working." You don't make money. You don't keep your business open that way. You know, two customers since he opened at breakfast, and I told him, I said, "It's understandable, Miguel. It's not hard. I can't afford to eat at any of these restaurants anymore. I go to restaurants all the time through the back door, but I personally can't afford to take my wife to one. You know, last time I took her to Applebee's was 2 years ago, and that was $90 damn. Couple drinks, a couple appetizers, and two mains. $90 frickin' dollars 2 years ago. Not happening. So maybe once a month, we'll stop at a fast food place. You know, $25. Go to McDonald's, $24, $23 here. And the crap. The food's crap. It's half-ass made, and half the time they make it wrong. They ain't no lie. Every other time we order something from McDonald's anymore, no matter which one we go to, something's wrong on the order. Something, you know, makes it so you don't want to go there. Then you add that with their E. coli breakout and other whatever it was they had with their onions and things like that. That just makes you not want to be involved in that stuff either, you know. So I go to these all kinds of restaurants that are struggling, something fierce, and I honestly suspect quite a few of them will not be around by the end of the year. And the fact that nobody has any money. And I listen to people, you know, make commentary, not only just on my channel, but other people's channel, the same situation. You know, people making good money and still can't make ends meet. And everything's so bloody hideously expensive. You know, I know somebody, and one of my boss's sons bought a brand new truck last year. He paid as much for that truck as what I paid for my house. Oh my God. I can't afford a pickup anymore. You know, I can't even afford a used one. There was a time when I was younger, I used to love them. I've had a number of them, but now I can't afford the damn van I got. You know, it's a 2006 Town and Country. You know, thankfully, it's held up real well. The fact that we only have once a week, we run errands, maybe twice a week. So we don't really put a lot of mileage on it. Just walking up and down. You know, it's not crying, dude. It's called venting. You don't have to understand that. And if you can't understand that, that's on you. But isn't that part of our problem today? So many people are so self-aware, so self-centered that they don't give a damn about anybody else. They don't even want to listen to somebody else's problem. Or is it because you have so many of your own damn problems, you can't cope with it yourself? Just asking, man. I don't cry when I get like this. I get mad. You see some of the videos on my other damn channel. I get really mad and upset, frustrated at the unfairness of how things have become in this country. And now, yeah, right. You think it's going to improve? You really think it's going to improve? I hope and pray you're right. I really do. I don't see it happening anytime soon. You know, big part of the problem is you and me. You're the big part of the problem. All of us, you know, and our attitudes and our selfishness, our inability to see past our own immediate needs, and this delusion that we're being fed. That's another problem too. You know, I love my role playing games. I love gaming in general. I play enough video games. I play, tabletop war games. Channel's full of stuff on this, right? But that also means I have a bit of a more wider awareness of what might and what could be. They toss that term dystopian around a lot, and a lot of people do not understand what that really means. And all you have to do is look at a lot of the movies that we've watched over the last 30, 40 years, that the science fiction movies that give you an example of a truly dystopian society or environment or situation. And none of them are good for the average person living in it. It's a nightmare for most people living in it. And that's where we're at. And we've been that way for a while. And your politics be damned. I really don't give a shit what your personal politics are. Because you make assumptions just like I do, like everybody else. I assume things because I don't have the information, and I don't want to find the actual information out to be an informed, crybaby. At least I'm trying to be informed. The big issue comes down to the fact that nobody is right. Nobody gives a damn about the other persons around them. And even doing lip service to it. I'm surrounded by Sunday Christians, people who are good Christians on Sunday that are the complete opposite of every value that they're taught, that Jesus taught, is trying to teach us. Every value that the Bible's trying to teach you, these people are failing mostly on purpose, being willfully ignorant. As if being willfully ignorant, sticking your head in the sand will fix things. To one old lady on the other side of town, it's all part of God's plan, and she's okay with it. Well, sure, she's 80 years old. She's preparing to go meet God in person. She don't give a damn about the real world anymore. She's checked out, and at that age, okay. I don't have that luxury, I don't have that luxury, Hey, Alpha, you crap in a bucket for a week because your plumbing's shit. You do that every couple months. You drop $125 on a plumber every couple months. In this case, it's been 2 weeks since the last time the plumber was out. We know we have bad pipes. I just don't have money to fix it. Do you have money to give me to fix my pipes? Is your plumbing working right? Hey, YouTube. Hey, subscribers. Hey, the occasional person popping on this channel. Look at this man. Look at this man's comment. Or woman, or man-child, or transvestite, or whatever this alpha person potentially is. And I don't really care. I honestly don't care what your anything is. Don't care. Don't care. It's never been my personal gig to care what your personal things are. Variety makes the world spicier. Right? But I bet you $1. And I don't bet often. I got $1. I'll dig it out of my wallet. I got $7 in my damn wallet. I'll bet you $1 damn. Of course, I can't bet you. I'd have to bet your household that if your plumbing was shut down for a month or a week or a couple of weeks or any number of times that I've had to deal with it, you'd cry too. So you would. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. So 8:30. I'll go ahead and get my schedule read up for next week. Call a few customers, see if it's okay. Let them know with the weather being dodgy, that we hope this will be the schedule. And then leave about noon, go home, get some lunch, take my wife to the dentist at 2:30. Her appointment's at 3, so she's the last group of people get in to see the dentist at the end of the day. So be 4:30 by the time 4:00, 4:30 by the time we get home. By that time, I should know whether or not the truck is done, so we can go get it. Then I have to get a hold of my boss so he can meet me up here. Then we go get the truck. And then if it's depending on the timing, I will try to go do a job, get some hours on the clock, and then stay as busy as I can until everything's caught up or until something breaks. And like I said, sounds like the weather's going to shut me down for part of Wednesday and Thursday, for sure. If it gets more than a couple inches of snow, we're done. I mean, it's just, slipping and sliding all over the place is a problem. Getting in and out of places, it can be a problem, then there's the trying to find the manholes under a foot of snow. That's a problem. Then there's more coming Friday evening, Saturday overnight. So, it will affect my ability to do jobs again based on the weather and, of course, the truck. And get on with the week and into the next week, man. And so I do some more crying and whining and moaning and bitching, right, Alpha? Right, Alpha? Because we all can't be alphas, right? You know what? Most alphas end up dead. Dead at their own hand, dead at one of their accomplices' hands, or because they blindly didn't see the train. They were so busy telling everybody else how to do things and how to live their lives that they didn't see the train they didn't see the train tracks for the train. Or, they didn't see the train for the train track, kind of crap. It's been my experiences with alpha types. Ain't too many of them that are true alpha types anyway. You dig deep enough into their psyche, it turns out they're either big mama's boys or they're huge fans of, I don't know, pegging. Hey, Alpha, you into pegging? I bet you are. It's okay. Nobody's judging you. And this ain't a channel for kids. It's not. Just me crying and griping and moaning and bitching, right? Such is life. Such is life. Anyway, don't cry, right? Hey, don't cry, man. Don't cry. Till next time, you guys, or you guys that have been loyal members of the channel and stuff. Hey, I appreciate your help. I appreciate you just listening to me griping sometimes. Sometimes you need to cry. Sometimes you do.